Okay, guys, no longer champions of Europe, but that's fine. That's fine. Champions of Europe, not that big a deal this season because we want to be the champions of the world still. So we're off to this FIFA Club World Cup. Great chance for us to get back on the horse. We've got the group stage coming up over the next few days. Two teams, with all due respect to them, that we should be beating comfortably. And then off the back of that, things get a bit more serious when more of the European teams step in to be our opposition. Okay, so let's just regroup, get back on the horse, and stay the world champions.
Looking for trouble and fights, but you found me. No, I'm a screw up, but baby, I'm glad you're someone to rely on, someone to rely on. No, I'm a screw up, but baby, I could be someone to rely on, someone to rely on, someone to rely on.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 188 of Husavik Heroes here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well, and coming up in today's episode is the Club World Cup for 2037. We are playing our two games in the group stage. First off, we take on Palmeiras out of Brazil, and off the back of that, surprisingly top of the group, I think it is fair to say, after the first match week, and that is Cerezo Osaka out of Japan. So if you are looking forward to today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying this series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated, but not much has happened off the back of the last Champions League final that we did play in at the end of last week against Real Madrid. If you did miss that episode, I'll leave a link to it in the top right corner. Missing out on penalties, very similar to the first time that we took on Man United, missing all of our penalties, while Real Madrid put all of theirs away. So we are no longer the champions of Europe after winning it the past two seasons. But as mentioned in the intro, good chance for us here to get straight back onto the horse as we play the Club World Cup and try and hold on to the crown that we did win all the way back in 2033. And as you can see on screen, here is our group. So Cerezo Osaka out of Japan, who surprisingly defeated our first opposition today in Palmeiras on the first match week by a scoreline of 1-0. So we definitely want to get through this first game against Palmeiras with a win to make sure that we do set up a decider in the second game of today's episode against the team out of Japan. Before we have a bit of a deeper look at the other groups here in this Club World Cup, a quick rankings update off the back of the past European season. First up, the league ranking update. We stay in 8th place there for the Islands dealt in 3.5-star reputation league these days, but that is good signs. At least we're not dropping there. So 8th in terms of the reputation there of our Icelandic top division in Europe. And if we make our way over to the club coefficient ranking as well, you will see we are still on top of that one. So no changes from this time last season. Still 8th in terms of the Icelandic top division and Volsungur as a club, despite missing out on that Champions League final to Real Madrid. We are still the top ranked team in Europe on the coefficient table. But we go back now to this FIFA Club World Cup and we can start to run through all of the groups here. We will do this, I think, in order of each group. We are in the top half of the draw, which is important because the winner of Group A plays Group B in the quarterfinals, and it rolls down like that. And then in the semi-finals, it is the winner of the quarter between Group A and B taking on the winner of Group C and D. So we're going to be staying in the top half of the draw until we make the final or the third place playoff, if we do make it that far in tomorrow's episode. But first off, Group A, this is Man City, Motherwell and Boca Juniors. I think it's fair to say you would expect Manchester City to be getting out of that group. Down to Group B, we have Real Madrid, the champions of Europe, Atletico Paranaense and Al Ittihad. Again, that's a group which you'd think the team out of Europe is going to finish on top of, especially having already picked up a win there. Group C is Arsenal. There is a team called Det Medellin out of Argentina, as well as Zamalek. Of course, this is of interest because if Arsenal top this group, as you would expect, that would be our opposition, provided that we get through the group in today's episode, who we would play first up tomorrow in the quarterfinals of this Club World Cup. And then we go down to the bottom half of the draw. Group E, Man United, Mimosas out of the Ivory Coast and Pachuca. Down to Group F, that is Paris Saint-Germain, Atlanta United and Cruzeiro. So again, you probably favour the European team in that group. Down to Group G, this one might be a little bit more open. Kawasaki Frontale, Atletico Mineiro and RB Leipzig, potentially one of the more open groups, albeit probably still favour RB Leipzig to get out of that one. And finally, we go down to Group H, where Chelsea, no doubt, will be one of the hot favourites to get out of their group. They take on TB Mazembe out of DR Congo, as well as the Chicago Fire, who they have already beaten, of course, out of the MLS. So that's what the groups do look like going into this season's Club World Cup. And as I mentioned, first off, we are taking on Palmeiras. We're going to put out our best 11 for this game. I think despite the fact that they did lose their opening game, I think our rotation team might be better served playing in that second game against Cerezo Osaka, and hopefully that will give us a little bit of a fitness edge going into the knockouts, because as we noticed a few years ago when we did last win this, often the other big European clubs do tend to have very, very tired players at this competition, and we can use that to our advantage. But first off, it is Palmeiras, 4-star reputation club out of Brazil. They are 6-time Copa Libertadores winners and 13-time top division winners in Brazil, so they are a very good club. But with us being one of the top clubs in Europe these days, there should be a team that we are capable of beating. In fact, if we go over to the data hub, I think we might have played these guys at the last Club World Cup, and indeed that was the case. We picked up a 3-0 win, so hopefully we can do something similar this time around, and we'll come back shortly with the team sheets with this first game from our group stage from the Ibrox Stadium in Scotland. Volsungur taking on Palmeiras. And here are the team sheets for this first game of today's episode. Palmeiras are on the right, no manager, and certainly not as much squad depth as we do have here at Volsungur, albeit they've got some familiar names in that team. Gabriel Veron, one of them, being captain. They've also got João Pedro on the bench, albeit not the same João Pedro who did used to play for us, but that is what Palmeiras do look like, having lost their first game against Cerezo Osaka. We are on the left, pretty much our first choice 11 backing up from their last game in that Champions League final. One change though, Gay does currently have an orange injury, so Lane Basicki does come on for him. We probably won't use Gay, even though he is on the bench with that orange injury, and the same applies for Luis Herrera as well, so do keep that in mind with an extended bench, and hopefully we get off to a good start here to set up a decider against Cerezo Osaka. And 2 minutes into this one, we have our first highlight, a throw-in, albeit it is deep inside our half, and Rodenko Krolo does receive the ball back there in a lot of space, takes his time to pick out the ball there to Lasana Dumbi, and we start to make leeway here down our right-hand side. To start off this game, we are in the all green. It is Palmeiras in the white tops with the green shorts, two green teams taking each other on in this one, and we still keep this down the right-hand side and are taking our time here to launch our first attack, and we start to do something now that we have switched it. Nice ball over there for Adam Saki, good ball there for a Mizkic. He tucks it away in the bottom right corner. We're just going to have to wait here for a VAR check. Not too sure because that play did accelerate quite quickly once it did get going. But indeed, that is a goal. And after only about 3 minutes, we do get the lead here against our Brazilian opposition. Good time run there from Adam Saki, and on the volley, he puts that away nicely. And it's a 1-0 lead very early here in our first game of the group stages in this year's Club World Cup. And just shy of the 15-minute mark, we do have our next highlight. Starts off here with a goal kick to Palmeiras, but that goes straight into the path of Ali Ramadan. Something else to note, there has been no transfer activity so far since that Champions League final. We've had a few bids come in for Ognjan Mizkic, the player who I thought we might let leave, but at the moment they are well undervalued. So at the moment, I think we are going to keep hold of him and see what we can do potentially in the next transfer window. But we knock the ball about here on the edge of the box. Saki there is in behind. He forces a save out of the goalkeeper, and apparently he was onside. I thought that time he might have definitely been offside, but if he slotted that away, the goal would have stood, and we can't get anyone on the end of the subsequent corner. And that is the highlight, still 1-0 here after 17 minutes. And we go forward now to the 23-minute mark for our next highlight. Yet again, we are on the Texas so far, looking pretty good here against our Brazilian opposition. Berger right on the edge of the box, slots that one in for Adam Saki, but it comes off the post. Palmeiras will clear that away. Still 1-0 after 25 minutes. And that is half-time in our first game of the group stages of this season's Club World Cup. Playing very, very well on top here of Palmeiras, but only up by a scoreline of 1-0, which is slightly concerning. Hopefully we can kill this game off in the second half. We're going to make one substitution. Agatigere late in that half picked up an orange injury. Malicio Menga will come on for him, and we'll try and build on this lead here in the second half, kicking it off with a 1-0 lead. And very early on in the second half, we start things off here with a corner. Doumbia puts this one in, trying to pick out Filippo Donelli. They clear that away, and Jonathan Berger plays that one back in to Dumbia on the edge of the box. Mizkic there with a header just goes wide, and it still is 1-0 Volsungur. And only a few minutes off the back of that previous highlight, we have another hero free kick very much inside the final third of Palmeiras, but we knocked that back all the way to our centre backs. But there's a nice ball for Menga at the far post, but blast that one over the bar. So we've had plenty of chances, but still up by only 1-0. And we have to wait all the way until the 73-minute mark for our next highlight in this one, so still yet to grab a cushion goal, which will probably put this game to bed, even though Palmeiras at the moment haven't really threatened us too much in this one. They get that ball back though, play it to their goalkeeper, who pumps it deep but straight into the path of Ali Ramadan. So we get another chance here to launch an attack, but at the moment it does look like Palmeiras are quite content to just park the bus and try and get us potentially on a counter attack late in this one. But Lasana Dumbia here, nice ball for Adam Saki, tucks it away in the bottom right corner yet again. We are waiting for a VAR check again. That looked like it might be a close call, but we don't even bother waiting. The goal has been awarded, and that is the cushion goal. We have been waiting for 72 minutes for Saki, slots that one away in the bottom right corner, and that makes it 2-0 Volsungur with around about 15 minutes left. And very shortly off the back of that second goal, we're going to make our last two substitutions. Two of our better players are down to red hearts, I think, in this tournament. Taking off good players early does sometimes end up being rewarded. So Adam Saki will come off for Heiko Kunzi and also Lasana Dumbia for Bruno Costa. 14 minutes left, and we are 2-0 up. And very shortly off the back of those last two substitutions, another highlight here. Palmeiras head that one away, but we do get the ball, albeit inside our own half, but do start to launch another attack. Maurizio Menga here in a good spot, but that from a tight angle is a decent save there from the Palmeiras goalkeeper in the end. Probably one, though, that you would expect him to make. We'll see if anything comes from the subsequent corner. Denali gets his head on the end of that, but puts that over the bar. And with around about 10 minutes left, it is still 2-0 Volsungur, albeit another highlight starting right off the back of that previous one. And Ramadan heads that one forward to Benvenu Bayer, and now Jonathan Berger will ping that infield to Bruno Costa. Another chance here for Menga, but yet again Lulio in goal it is for Palmeiras. Makes a decent save at the moment. Quite a few of our shots, it appears, going straight into the path of the goalkeeper, and Palmeiras do deal with that subsequent corner. Still 2-0 Volsungur. And another highlight here late in this one, 83 minutes gone. We have another corner, which they do get on the end of there through Matos, but Filippo Donali absolutely busts a gut there and gets back to that ball before any of the Palmeiras attackers can, despite the fact he was up for that corner. And we start to build yet again, but so far this has been a pretty comfortable win for us against Palmeiras, provided they don't mount some ridiculous comeback late in this one. And we still knock the ball about here on the edge of the box. Mizkic finds Berger in a lot of space. What can he do? We'll put this far post. They deal with it, but Menga is there to tidy things up right on the edge of the box. Radenko Krolo now plays that one in for Bruno Costa. Bayer with a shot. It's a little bit fumbly there for Lulio, and Menga off the back of that does hit the post, albeit he was offside, and we still only have a 2-0 lead, albeit our XG is starting to suggest that we probably should have scored 3 goals in this game. We get a little bit fortunate there at the back to miss header, but thankfully we do somehow keep possession, and Filippo Donali is there to just hold the ball here as we do it to try and close this one out with only 5 minutes left. Radenko Krolo plays that one to Maurizio Menga, all the way back here to Cal Vollen, but a good solid performance here at the moment from our first team off the back of that loss on penalties in the Champions League final at the end of last week, and we are still just steadily taking our time here to make our way into the opposition half. Bruno Costa to Krolo, and Menga yet again starts to make some leeway here down the right hand side. Krolo in there for Bayer, gets a header off. That comes off the crossbar. They clear that away. So it is still only 2-0 late in this one, as we see if anything does happen in the last few minutes of this game. But it's been a very comprehensive performance. At the moment, Palmeiras have not even fired a single shot in this game, and it looks like that is how things are going to finish. In the end, Palmeiras looked like they parked the bus and really had no interest in attacking after being beaten in their first game. That might suggest why that was the case, but a good solid performance from us there. Adam Saki picks up a double, and we get for our first game of this FIFA Club World Cup in good shape. I think that also means that we do go above Cerezo Osaka on goal differential, which could be important if we somehow only manage to draw against those guys in the second game of today's episode. But with Cerezo being a Japanese club, they don't actually have the Japanese league in the game, so we can't even look at those guys, but we'll come back shortly with the team sheets for that second game of today's episode. It is the decider for our Club World Cup group. If we want to get out of this group, we need to pick up a decent result there against our Japanese opponents. And we are straight back with the team sheets for the second game of today's episode against Cerezo Osaka out of Japan. Of course, they beat Palmeiras 1-0 on the opening match day, so a draw here would actually be enough for us to go through. But of course, we are aiming for a win, albeit, as you can see on the right-hand side, we have put out a quite heavily rotated team for this game. The only players who are still in this one are Carl Vollen in goal, as well as Jonathan Berger at left back. That is, of course, because Louis Herrera is still injured, but Busaroge, he has recovered, so he comes in to the DM role, and everywhere else is our rotation player. So very much a changed squad from that first game, but they should hopefully still be good enough here to get the result against Cerezo Osaka, who are on the left-hand side. No familiar names as far as I can tell, and hopefully we get through this one safely and secure our passage through to the quarterfinals for tomorrow's episode. And we have to wait all the way up till around about the half-hour mark for our first highlight of the second game in our FIFA Club World Cup group. The Japanese opponents are in the pink with the blue sleeves, but at the moment we are well on top of them in terms of stats. But this is the first highlight that we have seen, and Alagard there down the left-hand side finds himself in a bit of space on the edge of the box. Berger cuts in, finds Menga there on the edge of the box. I think that was just outside, but we will wait and see. This could potentially be a penalty to try and get us underway here in this second group game with our rotated team, and it has actually been awarded as a penalty. It did look like quite a close call, so we get one there which might slightly favour us. Bruno Costa will step up from the spot, but their goalkeeper makes a save. Costa gets on the ball, and then Alagard's shot is blocked, and yet again blocked. So somehow Cerezo Osaka get away with that one as Lamos puts this back into the mixer. Alagard heads that over the bar, and it is still 0-0 here just past the half-hour mark, but there is a big chance that goes begging thanks to Bruno Costa, and that means that we have still not scored a penalty until just before that Champions League final, which might be a slightly concerning sign. Might have ruined us there penalty-wise, did Real Madrid, but it is here Cerezo Osaka trying to play out from the back, but good work there from Menga a few times to get possession back. Kunze will play that one back. We try and find Alagard. They head that away, and Voskanyan gets us back on the front foot. Alagard here on the edge of the box. Berger back in for Alagard. Will square that for Costa. It's a little bit messy in the box, and in the end it's actually just a free kick, so it remains 0-0 after 32 minutes. And that is half time in the second game of our FIFA Club World Cup group. We are playing very well, but really lacking proficiency in front of goal, especially that chance from the penalty spot to Bruno Costa. So I think we'll give the boys here a bit of a rev up at half time. As I said earlier, a draw would actually be enough for us to go through, but we certainly want to win this game as we get back underway, locked up at 0-0. And only a few minutes into the second half, we do have a highlight, so hopefully there's a bit more going on here in the second half than there was the first, and we try and make our way into the opposition half, and we do here through Alagard. Will switch flanks out here, but does give the ball away. I think that was to Minamino. Don't think it's the same Minamino as from real life, but there's an interception from Gabriel Capana. Now Kunze will play that one back for Alagard. Berger starts to overlap. He's probably going to need a rest at some stage in this tournament once Louis Herrera does come back from his injury, but at the moment we are leaving this a little bit open for an upset if we do not put the ball in the back of the net, but we are starting to get on the front foot here early in the second half. Pedro Lemos right on the edge of the box puts this one into the mixer. It's a header there, I think. In the end, that was from Alagard, but it goes wide, and it is still 0-0 after 50 minutes. And about 10 minutes into the second half, I think it's time for us to make a few changes to try and rev these boys up. Alam Saki will come on for Heiko Kunze. And going forward to the 69-minute mark now, it's time for us to freshen things up yet again, because we still have not put the ball in the back of the net somehow in this game. I think we'll take off Jonathan Berger because he probably needs a rest. Radenko Kroller will come on for him, and hopefully we can break through here in these last 20 minutes, still locked up at 0-0. And only a few minutes off the back of that previous substitution, we are going to make our last one. Busaroge just coming back from injury down to a red heart. We will bring on Alain Basicki for him. 18 minutes left, still 0-0. And all the way forward to the 84-minute mark for our next highlights is still yet to break down the Cerezo Osaka team, who it does look like have been quite a Club World Cup at the moment, albeit have just double checked we would go through if this did remain a draw. But here's a chance for Adam Saki, comes off the post, gets a chance again off the deflection, but then that's a decent block / save, and somehow this game is still locked up at 0-0. And it looks like there's one more highlight in this one. We have a corner here at the 89-minute mark. Can we pinch it late? Costa puts that one into the mixer. They deal with it, but Volsungur will get there before the Cerezo Osaka defense do, and then Bruno Costa just curves that nicely past the far post, albeit he might be offside yet again. We are waiting on a VAR check. He was retreating, of course, from taking that corner, and indeed he was offside, so that really good finish is going to go unrewarded, and it's looking more and more likely that we might just scrape through this group off the back of a draw in our second game, albeit that was a pretty debatable decision. Might have only been a straight offside. We've got 4 minutes here of added time, and it does look like somehow we are not going to score a goal against Cerezo Osaka, so that is a very disappointing result, even though we did put out a rotated team, albeit it isn't going to cost us too much because we still make our way through top of this group and do get through to the quarterfinals. We are pretty sure we are going to be taking on Arsenal to start off tomorrow's episode, but that is certainly a disappointing result. Their goalkeeper having an absolute blinder with an 8.9. Of course, we did also miss a penalty, which did not help, but thankfully, because we beat Palmeiras by 2-0, that is enough for us to go through in top spot from our group. But certainly 2 pretty average performances there in our Club World Cup group. Hopefully we can kick into gear a little bit more in tomorrow's episode, especially having rested most of those first team players for that game right there. But a little bit disappointing, albeit, as I said, we are through to the quarterfinals. We'll come back shortly and see who we are playing to start off tomorrow's episode. And back in the inbox off the back of that pretty yuck result, it is fair to say. Somehow the headline says that Cerezo Osaka blew their chances despite the fact they had 3 shots on goal. We had 29 and we had a 2.82 XG, so not quite too sure how we did not win that game, but thankfully it doesn't cost us at all. We are still through to the quarterfinals, and as suspected, it is going to be us versus Arsenal to start off tomorrow's episode. Some of the groups are still concluding, so we can't quite show you guys who has finished top of the other groups, but that is where we will start off in tomorrow's episode, taking on Arsenal, and we'll probably play our first choice 11 right through that episode as we do look to retain our FIFA Club World Cup. But that will do it for today's episode. We get through our group, albeit in rather dicey fashion, especially that second game there against Cerezo Osaka. If you did enjoy today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying this series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on. Tomorrow we will run through the finals of the Club World Cup until we do get knocked out, and as you can see, that will start off with that quarterfinal against Arsenal. So until then, thank you very much for watching, keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.